So I've been looking at documentary footage of the Second World War, and in particular I was looking at footage of Nazi Germany and the war on the Western Front with Russia. And what struck me about the scenes was that all of the footage in this film and these films that I saw and in all that I've ever seen of the Second World War, the footage always shows men, mostly in uniform, doing battle. And they show men in the cities, in shops, in the streets, in factories and whatever. There is hardly any video showing women. It's almost as if the Second World War didn't feature women at all. That women played no role whatsoever. And when I think back on my life and all of the films I've ever seen regarding the Second World War, all the presentation, all the video footage, hours of it, show only men in uniform, men on the streets, men workers, men in crowds, men who are politicians. There's simply no video featuring women. Barely any video in the hours and hours that I've seen. And I'm wondering about this, I'm wondering why it's the case. Because it seems to me that women would have played a role in the Second World War, a quite prominent role, I would say, in various areas and support services and factory workers and all kinds of roles other than the actual military action. And yet, pictures of women in the Second World War are never shown. To my mind, or to my memory, women simply don't feature at all. It's almost as if women didn't exist in the 1940s or whatever. Everything presents men fighters, men who are workers. Everything shows men performing jobs or being soldiers or being crowds or whatever. And I'm wondering why this is. And there seems to have been a decision made at some point to not present women in any aspect of war. It's almost as if the women weren't there. But I disagree with this because it's very clear that women did play a role in the Second World War. Women were significant. They were not bystanders during the Second World War. They played a significant role in events. Yet the presentation of the war only features men. It's almost exclusively the case that only men are presented in any war film, in any political film, in any documentary. It's almost as if women didn't exist. And that's obviously wrong. And the role of women is simply suppressed. It's not discussed. And I'm wondering about this. It seems to me that women did play a role in the Second World War. Often an evil, horrible role, along with the men. But for some reason, the women are never described, they're never shown. And I think this is wrong and inaccurate and basically evil towards the image of men. It's as if women played no role in the Second World War whatsoever. And that's very clearly not the case. Women performed horrible acts in the war along with the men. German women are as culpable for the evil committed by Nazi Germany as the men are guilty. I was about to say it's inexplicable why the role of women is simply not discussed, but I'm wrong to think that. It is very clear that a deliberate effort has been made to make the case that women did not play any part in events, as if women were bystanders and women were not significant and played no role in events. And I think this is very plainly and clearly wrong. And it is wrong to portray the war as being about men fighting other men, and that the war is only about the actions of men. It is basically evil to present war in this way. Women were significant in the Second World War, and millions of women, literally millions of women, behaved in very evil ways during the Second World War. It was not just men who performed evil actions. There were very many women who were just as evil as the evil men in the Second World War. But almost every film I've seen, almost every documentary, simply passes over the actions of women. It's almost as if women didn't exist. I think you could watch a documentary or a war film and not see a woman at all, except as some innocent bystander, possibly. The presentation of the Second World War is exclusively about portraying the evil actions of men. The Second World War was not just about men. Women played a role as significant as the role of men. Very different activities, undoubtedly. But it's wrong and basically evil to portray the horrible events of the Second World War as being solely about the actions of men. I think we need to appreciate how women can behave in an evil fashion alongside the men. It is only fair to portray women as being culpable and capable of evil alongside the men.